Greetings, everyone. We are Troy Scorch, and we have good news for you. In a few years, the world wouldn't be the way it is right now, in such a way that it will almost sound ridiculous to be divided by borders and countries, because it's just going to be one whole environment, because we'll all be connected. Like, you could reach to China in a second in communication, everything's speeding up. So it's going to look like the whole world is a village place or a local place, which will then foster humans to start looking into other planets and galaxies because population is going to increase, of course. And with technology and advancing and humans not having to do much, that means most people will be having sex, and which will result to more people. So eventually, humans will start looking for a new habitat outside the planet Earth, and that will happen. And then, before then, we realized that we're not alone. There are other planets around Earth with people, some more advanced and some not so advanced. And just we have very I don't know how to put it. It's more very, very live, active civilization, just not far from Earth. All you hear about is Mars, it's Venus, and all that. But what if there are people there? Because there are people there. They're just in a different, let's say, density that humans in thought density can't see because everything is vibration. So for a civilization or an entity vibrating at, say, the five density, they'll be moving so fast that you wouldn't be able to see them because you're in a lower density. But there's a way we all, coexist just as we coexist right now in the third dimension with other one-dimensional consciousness expression like plants, grass, ants, animals, etc., minerals, elements. So once that happens, humans will find themselves with more information, more knowledge, and more duty because humans are the new kids on the block. So you will be meeting those who've been around for over thousands of years. And you realize that not all of them are outside the planets because many of us are here. So where we're driving at with this narrative or this premonition, it's a fact. It's happening, it's coming very soon. In a few years, it'll be here. Some of you will be old, but you'll be here. You will see this happen. So, however, there's an elephant in the room and no one's acknowledging that, and I'm just looking like, okay, let's just put it out there. Now, for everything or every design that's around us, we need to understand the properties, how it operates. For instance, you know how the vehicle works. So when you get to a vehicle, unless it's been programmed to, you know, be autopilot or programmed to be electric, there's certain ways, different dynamics, different operations. Yes, so you cannot go to a car, a 1975 model car, and talk to the car and expect the car to move. You can pray and call any entity or any deity that you know, and that car is not going to move unless you put in the fuel and pedal the gas, pedal the glass, and do it manually because it's not going to be automatic. Also, the car isn't going anywhere. So you cannot fool yourself that something is what it isn't and expect it to go the way you want it to go without acknowledging the dynamics behind it first. Also, another instance, space, what humans call out of space or outer space, is not space, it's not empty. Even the space between us is not empty. There are air molecules, tiny, different things within this space that we're experiencing. Because they're in a different vibration, different frequency, they cannot meet the human eye because the human eye can only see you know, a few percentage of the light spectrum. So humans don't see everything. Yet they have these rules and these regulations, all based on ignorance, and they're convinced that things is as they think it is. Once again, you cannot say something is what it isn't and expect it to operate the way that you think it should when you do not know what it is. Humans are afraid of snakes, but snakes are sentient. You see? Some humans are afraid of dogs, and dogs are also sentient. Your fear then, pushes you to interpret something that isn't so based on your own frequency without acknowledging what you're observing first. Now, space is a fluid, it's not air, there's no air molecule there, there's no oxygen in space. So you cannot talk in space. It's all that will be happening in space unless you're in a vacuum or and you have some sort of technology to transmit the sound vibration coming out from your lips to the other person's hearing. Lack thereof, there is no way to communicate like this out of space. Neither will you be alive to breathe in a fluid that is not a fluid that you understand. It's a different dynamics, what humans call black matter. It's not matter. Now, if you do not know that you cannot breathe in space and you go there without the spacesuit, you are going to die, my friend. And what's going to kill you is not out of space, but your ignorance. So if humans are not going to acknowledge what really is and work based on the function of that, the way it is programmed as it is so, then they will be going against the universal law. They will be going against the flow, creating resistance, causing friction, and things that are not supposed to be there will be there. And if you do not see them for what they are and then call it something else or assume that, oh, it's not that bad, then that is you choosing to interpret what you're experiencing based on your own frequency. Moving on. So, in order to understand how something works, you need to know what it is. You need to understand the properties and dynamics behind it. In order to know how a computer works, you need to know how to turn it on. You need to know there's a button there. You need to know how to operate it. You need to understand it first. Now that we've established this premise, why isn't anyone acknowledging the elephant in the room about how humans came to be? Do you believe the Darwin story about human evolution and how humans were created? Do you believe the religious story about the talking snake? Yeah? Really, bruh? Yeah, the talking snake told Eve, don't eat the apple. Eve ate the apple, gave it to Adam. What the fuck, bruh? Everyone's mature enough to see that that's just a bogus story. You can, dust it up as a metaphor just to, I was about to rhyme. And you think it's nothing serious, but you're missing that if you do not understand how something works, you cannot then define it. Humans don't know how they got to this planet. Humans don't know what or who they are. Humans don't know anything about themselves. All they have is Darwin's story about how they evolved from apes, which isn't true, because otherwise, why haven't any ape come forth as a human being? Hi? So the Darwin story is bogus. The talking snake story is bogus. So dear humans, how the fuck did you all get here? And until you understand that, you all don't have any fucking clue about what God is. So just forget about that first. Figure out who you are, how you got here. And upon understanding that, I am pretty sure that you will know exact fuckingly what you call God is. Thanks for your time. Namaste.